Welcome back to another episode of Mock Draft, where we are getting into some more wrestling things. You know what it is. This is a wrestling show. Just enjoy it. I've got, as always, I've got the man, the myth, the legend joining me today, Feo Grande himself, Omari Ellis. Omari, you ready to get some wrestling going?
Oh, yes. You know, like you said, it's practically a wrestling show at this point. It is what it is, and we like talking about it. So we're talking about some stuff today. We did the Royal Rumble tier list prediction thing a while back. You can go ahead and check that out. But we had fun doing it. So we figured we'd do another tier list this time.
That's right.
Yeah, this time not so contemporary in the sense of, it's only the modern, what's happening this weekend. It's more of a all-time kind of list. It's a list of the finishers. We're ranking finishers out here.
That is right. We got them up here on the board. We got a ton of finishers that Omari and I have gone through and built this list of a bunch of random legends, some currents, some in-betweens. Focusing WWE this time. We'll get some AEW product out there, don't you worry. We are going to break these finishers down into tiers. Our tier categories are, the way Omari and I look at finishers today is going to be, he dead. That's when boom, that happens and you're like, oh, that man's dead.
Yeah.
He murdered that man. You got painful. Like, that is, that might go a step beyond the show. And that might just be something that you have to eat.
That's gonna linger.
That might be a bruise. And then there's it gets a 3.
Yeah.
That's gonna be yours that are like, okay, that looks fine. It's probably very safe for both guys. Just kind of a regular back bump when you break it down. We've established it as a plot level finisher. It gets a 3. Then you have effective but soft. This is sure the program as a whole depicts this as a finishing move, but it kind of looks weak.
Yeah.
Not so great. And then we have find something new. This could be something where it's not even maybe depicted that strong on the show. Or it just looks really, really bad, or maybe we don't like the person giving it and that affects it too much. I'm not sure. For most of these, it's going to be kind of a single representation of an item with a couple of variations on some what some may call some duplicates, but otherwise we got a lot of people who do a choke slam at this point.
Yeah,
but we're going to cover one specific choke slam, that kind of thing. So we'll get into it and break them down and ready to go. Like, let's say if we really can't decide, if both of us have a really differing opinion, do we just paper rock scissors?
we could.
Okay. All right. We're going to start it off with what is essentially a DDT.
Yes, a double arm DDT, essentially. He gets 2 arms and does that. The Dirty Deeds. He eventually found something different. But I'd say probably about a 3. It's a DDT.
I mean, yeah, I would say because of modern wrestling.
Yeah.
I would say this gets a 3.
Yeah, because of modern wrestling, it gets a 3. It's a double arm DDT. It's a DDT with a little more spice on it. But end of the day, 3. Now we go from that to, what's that, the big ending?
This is Big E's big ending.
Sir.
Now I know you are a big E fan.
Yes.
How do you feel about the big ending?
I like the big ending. Back when he used to have the 5 count gimmick where he had people down for a count of 5, he made the ref count to 5 instead of 3. That was his finisher that he would do to do so, and it used to look extra devastating. We saw it on a list of not the best, or someone suggesting it is not one of the best finishers. But I've always liked it. I thought it at the very least was a painful finisher, if not something that would leave him dead. But you can judge for yourself if you like. I liked the big ending. I don't know if it's a full on he dead though. At least not these days. But
You know,
definitely
it's
painful. Or you try to put it in the effective but soft?
I mean, I feel like it's ineffective but soft because
Okay,
you got big E's, big arm underneath them when they're going to the ground.
fair.
It's
So you know what? For the sake of argument, so we know what effective but soft like is, I'm fine with putting it there. Because you're right, it looks like it could be, but effective, or it's portrayed to be effective, but when you actually look at it, how much impact are they actually feeling from it? They're kind of falling on him.
yeah, I mean for to have Big E who could have a big finisher that involves like his big body
I
involved in
mean,
it, it's kind
be
of the
picking up
opposite.
heavy motherfuckers, but yeah,
No,
I
yeah,
got you.
it is the pickup is huge. I feel like if it was a slam forward or something, you
Mhm.
know, I feel like we're talking a different story maybe.
Yeah, no,
Um
that's fine.
I love Biggie. I love Biggie, but purely from just watching the gif of it here in front of me, I'd say effective but soft. And you're okay
Okay.
with that?
I'm okay with it because it gives a good illustration of what we're using that category for.
Okay. Randy Orton, RKO.
I mean,
This is one of the top three finishers of all time, in my opinion.
yeah, it it can be hit out of nowhere. It's portrayed as the motherfucker's dead when they get hit by it. Yeah, it's up there in the he dead category.
That's he dead. That's he dead. Okay. AJ Styles is gifted with multiple selections on this list. We're going to knock out both of them right away. We've got the phenomenal forearm, and then we've got the Styles clash. Now, when push comes to shove, I think I like a striking finisher the best.
Okay.
Just because of how effective it can be made to look.
And he's jumping over the ropes and getting the springboard into it.
It's really impressive athleticism on top of that.
Like, look how fucking high he is in that picture.
But see, yeah, I'm gonna need I might have to defer to you because that's my problem here is I feel like the world at large and AJ Styles fans would be pissed at me about ranking the phenomenal forearm above the Styles class.
So if you ask me about which one, see, I kind of am with you in terms of like Flash, the phenomenal forearm is up there. Styles Clash has the whole legacy and legend to it, but I feel like it's one of those finishers where if you tuck your head, you have a neck injury for and probably are done wrestling. Like I
Right.
think Yoshitatsu got messed up by taking the Styles Clash wrong. Somebody else took a Styles Clash wrong. But generally, as long as you just cooperate, it's kind of like the big ending in the effective but soft, where it's like you're not really taking that much of a bump.
Yeah.
You're just
Hmm.
kind of falling forward. Where the phenomenal forearm, like you said, striking finisher, I'd probably have that ranked above it. Does that make sense? So I kind of agree with you. Where are you thinking about putting the phenomenal forearm though? Because I don't think he did put a forearm.
I would say the best phenomenal forearms are painful
Yeah,
because it's an actual forearm strike to the man's chest.
yeah,
Usually, I mean, in even and in the worst or best case scenarios,
it's to the face.
it's to his face and chin. Um, and yeah, I would say that you are correct in its similarity to Big E. But because we are talking AJ Styles versus Big E, I feel
Put
like
it
this
as it
gets
gets
to
a
go up
three.
to here. How do you feel about that?
Strong argument. I can agree with that.
Okay. Because, yeah, I feel like the Styles Clash has become iconic
Yeah,
because of
it's
how many
more
people
iconic than
love
that. Yeah,
AJ Styles so much.
yeah.
So many current wrestlers.
And I
Uh,
would put it over the double deeds too, or the dirty deeds as well.
yeah, let's rank inside of here. Boom. because I feel like we're gonna have to declare the baddest of them all at some
Hmm.
point. All right, weird because
Why
we
is it
we start we
numbered?
started with this as a template, and then we added and tweaked some things. And there is a power bomb and a version of a power bomb on this list already. So maybe
So
this is this
that picture,
person.
that picture looks like it's a spine buster, but Batista's finisher is the Batista bomb.
Correct, but I believe he also finished some matches with a. Did he finish matches with the spine buster? It was a signature move of his at the very least.
Okay,
Yeah, if we're gonna call this, let's call this a Batista bomb because it should be a
yeah,
Batista bomb.
that motherfucker power bombed the shit out of people.
I think it starts here.
Okay,
Do you feel like it needs to go any higher?
yeah, Batista's a big motherfucker, and he's doing like a sit out power bomb. So it's not even like he's just doing the power bomb. It was the roll so much that he like would bounce and roll back and then go
That's
in for
true.
the
It
pin.
was it was a lot of force downward.
Yeah. No, like
You think
he
he it's in he dead?
can't think of that many people that kicked out of Batista.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I'm just being honest.
I'm fine with that. Yeah. Yeah. Um all right, Code Breaker. Code Breaker. I'm gonna go ahead and put it here because I'm not a big Chris Jericho fan, and he changed his finisher 6 times after this. So clearly he didn't like it either.
Yeah, yeah. It I can see that as
I
well.
mean,
Like it
this is
you would
one of
think it's
12
cool.
finishers for Chris Jericho
Yeah, like
over his career.
yeah, you would think it's believable, like, oh yeah, double knees to the face like that, but it ended up having a lot more awkwardness. And like you said, he eventually even went on to find something new. And now anybody that does use code breakers just kind of uses them as transitionary moves into their stuff, like another move that's on here. So
Yeah.
yeah, find something new.
Yeah, I would say the better example of this move comes from Liv Morgan, who isn't necessarily great in ring, but her code breakers always look like a knee strike to their opponent's face. And
Yeah.
somehow Chris Jericho's code breakers always look like a backdrop to himself,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can give you that.
Even though it's the exact same things happening. I don't know if it's just that Liv Morgan's a tiny person.
Uh-huh.
So it just, I don't know. It feels more like she's dragging the person down, and her weight landing isn't that big of a deal. Where Chris Jericho's a denser guy.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, obviously not a big man, but you know,
That picture kind of gives away the game where he splits his legs so that their knee isn't like
right.
you know what I mean? So it really looks like he's just doing a backdrop to himself.
All right. Iconic. So iconic that there's like 4 people in WWE active right now that will get to the top rope, do a shoulder shimmy, and a frog splash. Eddie Guerrero. It's what do you think?
So gets a three at the least. Um, I did hear a wrestler, that has a YouTube channel talk about taking frog splashes, and he talks about one of the few times he got a concussion was because when he took a frog splash and the bouncing of the ring, the mat to his head gave him a concussion. And he's like, you'd be surprised. But yes, a frog splash is one of the most painful things. You
I
wouldn't think
mean,
it.
if
But
you
yeah.
don't land any kind of top rope body drop type of maneuver, if you don't land perfect chest to chest, stomach to stomach kind of air zone, yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of people take shins to the face and throat and arms. You're essentially doing a big
Ah!
forearm smash if you land on the person's face, or leg to leg, or like
Yeah.
torsos to the person's.
Torso to legs. Like, I think
Uh,
in the Rumble a couple weeks ago, somebody did a top rope, and I'm like, oh, that's my legs. You landed on my legs. You didn't land on me. Ow.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I would definitely throw that into the potentially risk of being painful.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely painful.
and
When
on the
people talking
minimum, you
about
might get your
taking
wind
getting a
knocked out of
concussion when you took it right,
you.
because there's not much the person taking it can do. They're like, hope you land correctly.
All right, one of the big dogs.
Big dog. Oh yeah, Stone Cold.
Stone
Let's
Cold
be
Steve
honest.
Austin. All right, so here's the thing. We're gonna go in there. You're gonna take the stunner. It's a shotgun. Boom, you're dead. That was quote Steve Austin. Um, so yeah,
Yeah,
he goes in the you're dead
yeah.
category.
Take a shotgun. Boom, you're dead.
Yeah,
Love
the
Stone Cold.
when it becomes a competition in the locker room for who can take this move the best, who can sell this move the most, it's like an
Yeah.
over finisher.
Uh,
To this day, people will like hold on their career of like, I think I took one of the best stunners of all time.
Fantastic. Just all the different ways. Yeah, it's so iconic. There are ways of selling it that are iconic.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you gonna do the stall? Are you gonna do the full bounce back up into the air like almost backflip?
Or are you going to actually backflip like you do rock or some shit?
Are you just gonna get murdered and crumple to the ground like a Vince McMahon style thing of just like, yeah, it's just, and then like the seizure shakes. Um it's like with Randy where it's like, how is it going to happen? Like
Mm.
wrestlers compete to get into the RKO. The stunner is wrestlers compete to how they sell the RKO, so, or the stunner. So it's absolutely iconic. It's up there at the top right now. Is this our first submission?
I believe so.
Woo!
Figure four.
Ric Flair's figure four leg lock.
Have you ever been put in a figure four leg lock?
Yes.
How would you describe it? Is it
Um
as painful as it seems?
it can absolutely be a real move that can be painful. But also, the thing with the figure four is that there's no actual joint manipulation. Once you break it down, it's really just your shin crisscrossing with your own shin.
Yeah.
And the only way to actually make it a legitimate move is to like wrench down so that your shin on top of your shin is literally just pushing down. And
Yeah.
so in theory, someone like a Brock Lesnar, a giant UFC freak of a human being could maybe break someone's shin bone in half with a figure four leg lock. But that's what it would really take to like hurt you.
Actually do.
Like
Yeah.
like I could put a figure four leg lock on you where you would be like, "Ow, that's painful." Like, "Ow,
Yeah.
you're hurting my leg," but I'm not gonna like injure you, you know. But I mean, it looks that.
It's
What
portrayed
did
as
you think?
devastating.
Yeah, it looks like it hurts.
Yeah, it
It looks
does.
legitimate.
And the cells both ways, even when they do the little rollover and reverse the pressure. Ah! It is always portrayed to be one of those like a painful ass finisher. But yeah, painful. It's the figure four.
I moved this one up because it's so similar. I wanted to talk about
Yeah,
it because this is the difference. This is working on your knee. This is like an actual submission
yeah. This is working
where
on your knee, and I feel like it gets the back as well.
you're wrenching. Yeah, absolutely. It could end up working your back, but most of it is if you wanted to turn it into like a real maneuver.
Gotcha.
Most of the what would make you actually tap is happening right there at your knee. Because Bret Hart is putting your
Yeah,
other leg right behind your knee, and then he's just, you could theoretically wrench on that and like hyper,
hyperextend.
right, kind of stuff. So this is, I feel like, one of the more legitimate actual submission moves, much like something else later on down the list.
Mhm.
So I it's
Yeah,
definitely painful. I feel like it's almost there.
yeah. I mean, especially because, like you said, with the working the knees all the way it is, and then you still got your back like bent up like this, even if they're not trying to. You got a fucking like 250 plus pound man sitting on your back while he breaks your knees.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, my only question is with the categories that we've laid out, can a submission be a he did?
Don't think so.
Okay.
Or is anyone passing out? Who? Wait, someone passed
Because you're
out
still
from a
gonna
finish.
have, I mean, yeah, you could pass out from a finisher. They do it a lot
They
now.
passed out from the
because
pain.
the theory is wrestlers don't want to tap nowadays.
Well, no, I'm talking about even back in the day. Like, who did Stone Cold wrestle where he passed out from their submission?
Bret Hart, but it was very rare back then.
Yeah, and he was
Like,
also bleeding like hell. So
yeah, but like at that point, like passing out meant you
yeah,
were put into a sleeper holder, like a move designed to pass you out, a bear hug or
hmm
something like that. Yeah, I feel like because more way more than passing out, a wrestler could struggle to get to the ropes, and then there's
yeah,
still like 5 minutes of a match to go.
yeah. That's why
So
I'm like top of painful. Not really. He did because
yeah,
there's still the struggle in there.
when these three perform these, it's the match is over kind of
Yeah,
thing, or you have one of the
yeah. You're
biggest
fighting
kick outs of all
yeah.
time
You're
kind of
fighting
thing.
another top tier, and they're kicking out of it.
Right. Carlito's backstabber. I'll start it and gets a three just because that's where I've been putting everything to
It's
start.
the code breaker to your back.
Boom.
I mean, am I wrong?
You're not. You're not.
Yeah,
It looks fine,
yeah.
but it's not a finishing move at all.
I
Uh,
mean, and it like the code breaker is now like a transitionary move. Like I know Mercedes Monet when she was still in WWE and had the bank statement as her submission, her setup to the bank statement was backstabber, then roll over bank statement. Like it's just got added as yeah.
yeah,
Find something
I
new.
feel like it's a setup for several wrestlers these days.
Ironically, according to Carlito, suggested to him by John Cena.
The choke slam we have in this depiction, we're going to talk specifically about Kane's choke slam.
All right.
But I feel like because it's the only choke slam represented, we should keep in mind the choke slams for the ages. If you have a
Yeah, your
favorite one,
showstoppers, your the South of Heaven's not a bad one.
South of Heaven is
Uh
not a bad one. No,
uh
I do love like original Giants
That's why I said
choke
showstopper.
slam is maybe my favorite, but Kane's is good.
Yeah.
I
When
mean,
Kane, yeah,
OG
one arm.
Kane was on another level, man. He
The,
was.
the Kane doing this choke slam to I think who Triple H.
I think that's Triple H. Yeah,
Yeah, he did.
I feel like he's dead and above Batista.
Yeah, especially if we're like lumping in all choke slams.
Yeah. All right. Now here's a crazy one. This might be my old schoolness, but I feel like Jake the Snake, even though we just had a DDT get put in the gets a three.
Well,
Jake the
we
Snake's
mentioned it because
DDT,
DDTs have been watered down. We did mention that.
right? Jake the Snake's DDT was murder.
Hmm
It was Stone Cold Stunner before Stone Cold Stunner. Wrestlers competed on how long they would lay lifeless in the middle of the ring to sell Jake's DDT. And despite however many people do it to this day, Jake's feels a little different when you see it in action.
Yeah.
It is snapping. It is hard. It looks a little brutal.
No, I can give you Jake the Snakes. It's the original.
It's the original.
You know, there's a reason why other people have super kicks and other people's super kicks have names. It's just that different.
You know what I'm saying? Speaking of, I don't know if this is the original, but boy, do a lot of people have a running knee strike as a finisher.
Yeah.
Uh,
The
but I feel
Kinshasa.
like this guy might be one of the oldest.
Yeah. Good old Shinsuke. Yeah, that's at the very least painful. You could
Oh,
say he did, but
absolutely.
yeah. No, at the
I
very
would say
least, that is
unfortunately, because of his last 2 years booking,
Hmm.
which he has been pretty vocal about the fact that he enjoys immensely. Like he's made a few different things of just like telling his fans to shut up in many nice words because he enjoys what he's doing. Like, and he's spent a large portion of his career being extremely successful and winning.
Yeah.
But as I say this, he is the United States champion with a new kind of rebranded character in the new year. So doing cool stuff right now. But I would say because of that recent, he's not in He Dead.
Yeah. I can give you
It's
that.
in Painful
Yeah.
because
Because
there's no way it's not painful.
yeah,
He's the king
it's,
of strong style.
yeah, due to portrayal. Yeah. You asked me 2015 or whatever the fuck he came in. Yeah, yeah, he did. But now, not so much.
Hulk Hogan,
Okay. Yeah.
depicted as one of the strongest moves of all time, only kicked out of once, and that was because of a botch run it. Sid Justice had to kick out of Hogan's leg drop because Papa Shango was late on his run in to suppose who when he was supposed to like either cause the DQ or
Yeah.
somehow
Or break it
distract
up or something.
somehow
Yeah.
distract the count. And because he wasn't there, Justice had to kick out of Hogan's leg drop.
Good
Otherwise,
shit, Sid Justice.
um,
Good shit,
otherwise
Shango.
Hogan's leg drop. But despite its booking, I mean,
Yeah.
it
And-
goes in this it goes in the category of what I feel like you could accuse many of these of, which is it's more of a move to yourself
Yeah.
than it is a move to your competitors.
I'm pretty sure dude lost actual inches off of his height.
That's what he claims. You can't say it. I mean,
Well,
wrestlers be talking, but Hulk Hogan especially be talking.
yeah. I said pretty sure, I don't know.
No, but I mean, I mean, it would be a fact. Like, oh, well, I don't know about the inches off of his height, but like, that is going to fuck up his spine.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And his tailbone area and all of that. That is going to have long term repercussions for constantly landing on your butt like that.
Mm.
But yeah, it's barely a move to the other people. So it's got to be effective but soft. If it wasn't for it being Hulk Hogan,
Yeah.
then it would be in the find something new, you're garbage.
Yeah, everybody else who uses a leg drop generally has to jump off the turnbuckle to make it something. Pedigree.
Pedigree. What do you think? This is kind of one where it's like it's Triple H,
Yeah.
but I feel like it wasn't that protected of a finish. Sometimes it murdered you. Sometimes you kicked out of it. He fought a lot of people that kicked out of it. It's now a transitional move.
Yeah. Rollins
Or
had it
a-
as a
a
finisher
loose
before he
signature
had
move.
before he had the curb stomp, Rollins had it as a finisher.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, now it's more signature, like, hey, look, it's the pedigree. Just crazy.
What do you think? I don't think it's a painful. It's never really looked painful.
Yeah, especially once he started like letting
Weirdly,
go of
it's
the
either a
arms.
he's dead or gets a 3, I feel like.
Yeah, and if we're talking about like it not being as protected as other finishers, then probably got to go to 3. Yeah,
All right.
he did. It's the Shui Chin music.
Thank you.
There's a reason some super kicks have a
Listen.
name, and others are just a
I
super
had to,
kick.
I'm glad I could sit out of that one because I'm too close to it.
I'm sure you agree.
Yeah, I mean, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Like, did you see? Like, he just did one to Kevin Owens at Saturday Night's Main Event. Motherfucker still put the sole of his boot right on Kevin Owens' chin. Like, he's the man. He's the man.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah. There's a reason it's the Sweet Chin music. It's just better.
And he protected it. Like, you can say what you want about wrestlers politicking, but sometimes it is for the wrestler's benefit, and it makes everything. It has at times. It's an important part of wrestling. Is somebody's gotta politic to protect their position because then it creates the wrestler. And yeah, no one, if you were on a company with Shawn Michaels, nobody was doing a sidekick to the face. And if it happened, you would be hearing about it.
Yeah, the closest that came was the Stevie kick, and who gives a fuck about Steven Richard? Sorry, man. Right to censor. You made me not like you. You're probably a good person, but you did your job too well. And right to censor. Didn't like you.
We got a divisive one here, Omari.
Is it?
Is it?
I always hated the steak face. I'm not gonna lie to
Who
you.
likes it? I mean, people like it though, because they keep using it.
It ain't me.
He used it for a long time. It was really
sure
over.
did.
People all cheered it. Woo, you're putting his butt in his face.
Mm.
Yeah, and then when we have the rumors of the rest of the super weird wrestling hazing that happened all the way as recent as these times in the early 2000s when
Yeah.
someone would go to the bathroom and not clean themselves and then do this move because haha it's funny. We can talk about dude having poop on his face in the locker room. It's weird. It's weird, it's ugly, it's nasty. Don't need it.
No.
Find something new, Rikishi.
He
Finn
found baby
Balor's
making.
coup de grace. Feel like at least has to go into painful.
Oh, that's Finn Balor's coup de grace?
Is that not? Oh no, that's Ricochet's 630. That's Ricochet's 630.
Yeah. So we talked about moves from the top turnbuckle that drop one's weight on you. And he's rolling into a ball and rotating 360 degrees. Oh no, 630. I would say at least painful. You ain't dead because it's Ricochet and not like a Kevin Owens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, painful. I mean, how do you cushion that? I don't understand how you cushion some of these moves.
Or control it
Yeah.
on any real level. No, yeah, you can't. Undertaker, I feel like there's not much
come on
discussion
now.
here.
Yeah. Come on now.
He
the
dead,
goddamn
you're dead,
Undertaker.
everyone's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is another quick one. I feel like Kurt Angle,
Ankle
this
lock.
is absolutely painful. This is a real submission move. He's grabbing your ankle and he's twisting it in a direction that it's not meant to be twisted in. He could break every ankle lock. You could easily break somebody's ankle. If you get yourself into a position where you have an ankle lock on you, that other person could break your ankle almost immediately. That's a very, very dangerous.
Yeah, I get worried half the time when they're like, and he's wrenching it so heavily. Like, no, I don't. You don't have to wrench it that hard. I still believe it's painful, man. I still believe it's painful. Don't actually break it.
This one I am less familiar with, and you'd have to take it for me.
Playmaker. He needed to find something new. And it was not a good finisher. So pretty much he took that position. This is MVP, Montel Vontavious Porter. He would take his leg over the person's head and then fall forward. Like he went from that to just falling forward. And it never really looked like that, like it did anything.
Oh, God.
Yeah. It was lame.
Oh, God.
It was lame. Like, find something new. It was one of the worst. And I like MVP.
That is one of the worst finishers I've ever seen.
Yeah, and I like MVP, but he had the playmaker, so he didn't really go anywhere.
Matt Hardy took it pretty well.
Yeah.
Most people are taking it terrible.
Yeah, it's not the best. Not good.
Ooh,
Playmaker.
Rey Mysterio made it look pretty nasty.
But yeah, it's not.
No. Yeah, that's find something new. All right. We have Edge's spear here, I believe. Maybe controversial. I don't know. I want to put it at find something new. I wish for the love of God Edge was doing something else these last 15 years. I think he has, like, people talk about Jey Uso's spear and don't talk about Edge's spear, and it's one of the more frustrating internet wrestling conversations out there in the world. How much Jey Uso gets shit, how much Roman Reigns gets shit on his spear.
How? That's the tribal chief spear. We'll talk about it.
Because for some reason, when they're having this conversation where they want to shit on either Roman or Jey, they are only thinking about Goldberg, Braun, and like Rhino's spears, and that's it. But Edge has been using a spear exclusively as his finisher for a very long time, and it is not.
No,
I said my
like
piece.
especially when you compare it to, and I'm gonna say my piece. When you compare it to a Roman Reigns spear or a Goldberg spear, no, or even a fucking who had a fucking shit. I like the Big Show spear more, and that's just him falling on somebody. But if you've been in the arena with a Big Show spear and you hear what that sounds like when his big ass hits the ring, yeah, I like the Big Show spear more. I kind of with you. I liked. I know he had execution. I don't know if I liked the move itself, but at least it was something that I felt was more suiting. What I will give Edge is his build up to the spear. He has a good psycho, I'm about to kill you face. I just wish the spear itself was more impressive, I guess. And I say more impressive like I can do it. But you get my point.
Right. All right. Let's go to Kurt Angle, second time on this list. The Angle Slam. I feel like it's a 3.
Yeah, that was my first thought. Because,
Like you are going high up, you're doing a high backdrop. I feel like it's kind of like the Styles Clash where it's a little
yeah,
complicated. You might there's maybe a theory in which you could hurt yourself, but most of the time you're gonna be taking a pretty safe bump.
yeah, I'm going to give you that one. And it's right there with the pedigree as well, like where, yeah.
Okay.
Mandible Claw.
Mandible Claw. I'll let you go first on this one. This is one of your boys.
All right. I would love to place this high up because it's Mick Foley and he's my dude, but we're trying to be objective on this list, or we're still subjective, let's be honest, but we're trying to have some objectivity to it. And at the end of the day, it's portrayed pretty much like, oh, you're done, and no one wants a fucking sock in their mouth that's been in someone's crotch. Or I'm putting it in effective but soft. Because I think at the end of the day, he's not really doing anything.
Yeah, it is portrayed very amazingly. But the thing with all of these with the mouth finishers over history is you have to excuse the fact that they're not just biting the person's fingers off. That's
Yeah.
also a weird level of these things. Like I know they tried to explain it with Britt Baker that because she
Yeah.
was a dentist, she knew about like a numbing
Yeah,
nerve
yeah,
that
like
she could
pressure
that she could
points in the
poke.
mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you are
Uh,
pull. It's not just it's the fingers, and then it's the pulling down on your thing. So you're fighting their arm with your teeth. I guess when for the argument of biting their fingers off.
right, but
That
nothing's
said,
holding the top of the head. Your head is a hinge at the jaw. So if you're pulling this down, naturally my top of my head would want to go down with it and just bite down on your teeth or bite
yeah,
down on your fingers.
no, you, yeah,
But I mean, still it's wrestling, but like
yeah,
like you said,
effective but soft.
it's like it is two very different people and wrestlers, but it is extremely similar to the thing that it's sitting right next to in the Hogan leg drop, where it is portrayed as one of the most devastating things that can have happen to you. But in reality, you just have to hold Mick's probably kind of gross fingers in your mouth for a
Yeah,
couple of minutes for
yeah. I mean,
30
he's had that
seconds.
sock in his pants the whole match.
Yeah. I mean that's kind of gross.
Yeah.
Just for that, honestly, I want to put it up a little bit, but no, we're
Yeah, I
gonna
mean, we
leave it.
can. I'm
We're gonna leave
fine
it.
with moving it up, but I'm just like,
I love you. You're the one who's For me, it's always just been a meh. I've never thought about it that much, but you have always had an opinion on the diving headbutt. So I'll let you
I
go.
didn't like it, if I remember correctly. I did not like it when he who shall not be spoken of did it. I didn't like it when Daniel started doing it because yeah, it's just kind of if you want to move where you're just hurting yourself more than you're hurting your opponent, it's the fucking diving headbutt. At least with the cross bodies and the whatnots, a lot of your body mass is hitting their body mass, and there's a lot to sell. You're just trying to sell that you're hitting your head to them. So that's the only thing that has any chance of hitting the opponent's body, and 9 times out of 10, you're just face planting on the mat. It's better than a flying nothing, which you just miss entirely the whole point of the flying nothing. But this is one step above a flying nothing. I don't like it. It's led to so much brain damage and other things. Yeah, find something new.
And
Do
like
do do.
like I've heard you say before, for some reason it's all of the wrestlers who are known for being incredibly technical and
Yes.
proficient wrestlers.
Yeah, you're one
Kurt
of the
Angle,
best.
Bryan Danielson, Chad Gable, the person who should not be named from the Attitude New Generation,
Yeah.
Ruthless Aggression era. Yeah, it's all people who are like, I know 1,000,007 holds, and I also dive off the top rope and throw my head at you. Like,
Yeah, I'm one of the smartest, most technical people. Let me bang my head on the mat from like 8 feet in the air. Like, you can do anything. You're one of the best. You know this game inside and out. And you go, ah! Thank you for reminding me of that point. So he did find something else. He found the label lock, which is very similar to something that the other guy used as well.
I hate cross faces. I hate cross faces. I do. I hate when Danielson does it. I hate when John Cena does it. I hate when the other guy did it. I I hate when, oh God, who else? Whatever the hell we called whatever the Undertaker was doing for a little
Oh,
while.
Hell's Gate. Well, Hell's Gate was actually a finish, is an actual submission, or based on an actual submission, apparently.
It's yeah, we weren't covering that one, so I just had to throw it
Yeah,
in there.
it's based on
Um
it, but he didn't do it well. I don't think he pulled it off well enough because it's
uh
not a good wrestling move.
but yeah,
Um,
the cross face always looks like a struggle for the person taking it to sell it properly. Um, Not a big fan. What do you think?
yeah, hell. I'm kind of with you on that as well. Sorry, I said hell because still thinking about the Hell's Gate. Um,
Do we need to put it all the way down, or is it
I'd
just
say
more?
effective but soft, even though he did eventually find a running knee strike. So he did find something new. He found something new off of both of these, technically.
Right.
But yeah. But it is a crossface and it has been effective portrayed.
Lots of people have used it effectively, but yeah, it's just yeah, the big three that I can think of is this Danielson one, John Cena's, and then he's
Oh, the STF.
uh,
Yeah. John Cena's is the worst of the three. And it has at least some leg action going on. But yeah,
uh-huh.
no, John Cena's is the worst of the three.
What do we
All
got here?
right.
Oh, now see, when
Yeah.
I was a kid,
And
it was up here.
it's still there.
It's so impressive. It's a
Look at who
really
he's doing
cool.
it on in that picture. And
Andy's
that's from him
concussed.
being older.
Yeah, Andy's all fucked up here because he's
Yeah.
all overheated in Saudi Arabia and shit.
Yeah. So yeah, Jackhammer. He did. It's Goldberg.
All right, we have Rowdy Roddy Piper's sleeper.
I'll let you take the lead on this one. You're more of a Roddy.
I think I buried the lead earlier, where it's. I mean, I love Roddy Piper, but it's an effective but soft. It is the sleeper hold is portrayed as a like those who use it. It is devastating. Shout out to Gunther in modern era, but it is a extremely soft move. I mean, you're resting your arms on top of the other person's shoulders. You're
Yeah.
not you're barely even
I
like
hate it when
wrenching down
Dolph
in the
switched to it for a
chokehold.
while. Yeah. I'll give you that. Effective but soft. Razor's Edge. Yeah.
He's
I mean,
dead.
he did, especially from fumbling his biggest fucking razor. I didn't realize how big that dude was till we were watching matches on the channel. That dude was fucking huge.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And how comfortably he did that move so many times, so often. Like got those people in that position and then would just like pose and smile and like wink at the camera and then drop them. Like it was and I believe before a few people started using it as a false finisher in homage, it was one of the most protected moves in all of wrestling.
Oh yeah.
If Scott was gonna lose, he wasn't using the Razor's Edge. kind of thing.
Which
So
I think is fine for people. If you're going to lose, you don't have to
yeah,
have them kick out of your
the
finisher.
story of the match is that you couldn't get to your finisher.
Yeah, have them counter and get out of it. Have them
Yeah,
roll out the ring. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Don't kick
Not
out.
every big match has to be, all right, well, I'm going to kick out of your finisher, and then you kick out of my finisher, and then we'll do that two more times, and then we'll do double finishers, and then that's when we'll spoilers for later on in this list. Miz.
Goal crushing finale. He's needed to find something new for a minute. And I say this as a biased Miz fan who, but the first time he saw it, I said that was a lame finisher. He has made it work over the years, but it's lame.
I feel like the booking could put it here, but even in WWE canon, they're like, yeah, that's kind of a lame finisher.
Yeah, at one point it was affected Soft because he was a WWE champion for a while, but
Right.
now he's just full on 5-star frog splash. It's a frog splash, but 5 stars.
Crushed Triple H's larynx. So I'd say he'd tell you that it's painful.
Yeah, we already put. That's what I'm saying. It's a super frog splash. So yes, at the very least, it's painful.
Rainmaker, when done effectively, is absolutely painful. Or when he does it, usually in New Japan. This is the one I just realized. This is kind of the one not WWE thing that snuck in
Yeah,
here.
because we're like, we're not doing WWE, not WWE
I
things. I
suppose
didn't even question the Rainmaker. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I suppose this is also just kind of like using a clothesline as a finisher. You got your clothesline from hell. Um,
Why did we not put that shit on here? That those were some dead motherfuckers.
I mean, yeah, that's
Um,
the like he's kind of
yeah,
also this is also kind of a he dead, right?
yeah.
Like it's at its least, it's you're still fucking taking a hard ass clothesline
Nah,
from a big Kazuchika Okada
I'm fine with he
or a
did.
Bradshaw Layfield.
Yeah. Yeah, even if you want to be like, this is a placeholder for the clothesline for hell or the Rainmaker itself, you did.
Yeah, just the concept of a good clothesline finisher. All right.
Attitude adjustment.
Attitude adjustment. Physically impressive for the giver. What it comes down to is a standard backdrop. But it's still from a little bit of a height, I suppose, like the Razor's Edge. What do you think? I mean, it definitely gets the 3,
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
but does it
it's.
go anywhere above that?
I don't think it does. Because I think the more painful version of it is on this list as well.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, I'm going to keep it at gets a 3.
6-1
All right.
Booyaka.
Striking move.
It is a striking move.
But no one gets pinned by the 619 itself.
Boom, boom. And you know what? I'm also going to say often botched. Often not even making contact with your opponent.
Oh, you're
Like
doing straight up find something new.
it's iconic because it's Rey Mysterio. But whatever finisher Rey Mysterio would have chosen would have been iconic.
You know,
Like you
I could
said,
argue.
he's
No, I could
never pinned
argue.
anyone off of a 619.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I could argue, but I'd be arguing for an effective but soft, and it's not worth the argument.
Although you could make the argument that the original 619 was a full complete move that he pinned people off of. And it
Yeah.
included the Hurricane Rana into the pin.
Like, oh yeah, if you're adding the Hurricane Rana like jump
The
afterwards.
original 619 was the 619 kick, waiting for them to stumble back, springboard off the ropes, Hurricane Rana pin.
If we're
That
counting
was
all
the
of that together,
619.
yeah. But now it's
Now,
just
yeah, 619 is the kick, and then he either does the frog splash, he'll do like a body splash off the rope. Sometimes he doesn't
yeah.
even go to a pin. Sometimes it's just I kicked you in the face, and then you
Mhm.
rolled out of the ring, and like because I'm in a tag match or something.
Yeah. No, I'm fine with that. Like I said, any argument I would have made would have just been for an effective but soft, so it's not like it's that much more of a rise. But yeah,
I mean, I talked myself into moving it up
okay,
because the original 619,
yeah,
the full complete move of not even young, of like late 30s, early 40s Rey Mysterio. The kick was often nailed, and then that Hurricane Rana into the pin
Was pretty
is
sick.
is sick.
Yeah. Okay. Give it a 3.
All right, Rock Bottom, legendary, classic. But is it a he dead?
I
It's
feel like
not a
it got kicked
painful.
out. I feel like it got kicked out of more than your stunners and stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't look nearly as striking as a stunner or an RKO.
Yeah. So what do you think? A 3? Yeah, right up there with pedigree and angle slam and stuff. Yeah. And AA. Yeah. If the AA is a 3, so is the rock bottom.
Brock Lesnar, you're gonna say he dead?
Oh yeah. I mean,
F5, he dead.
yeah, it is the F5. Yeah. That is speaking of protected ass moves.
Right,
Unless you were also an S tier, you're not kicking out of it.
right. And even then, you got to be SS, like you got to be Roman
Yeah, you're
or
trading
John.
finishers at that point. Now you're just or Goldberg.
Right.
Oh, you hit by me, I spear you.
Kevin Owens pop up power bomb. I don't know if I need to move it out of gets a 3,
I'm fine with
but
keeping
I'll let
it there.
you make an argument if you want.
I mean, if they had the apron version, I'd definitely put it in painful, but 3 is fine. Given what we've given 3s, I have no problem with this.
Macho Man's flying elbow drop. I want to move it up to painful. I want to
Yep,
say.
top rope. We've established. Can we move Dirty Deeds below some of the other things in top 3? Dean Ambrose's thing below some of the other things and gets a 3. I'm sorry, it's just having it above stuff like the rock bottom.
Absolutely. No, yeah, completely understandable.
Sorry, just visually, I'm like, oh, okay. So what we got next? Curb Stomp. I mean, it got banned at one point, which is hilarious.
Really
Yeah, because Vince was scared about kids imitating it.
interesting.
Yep. And then Steph had his own little version of the like a ripcord version of the V trigger for a little bit before they eventually just said, fuck it, just give him back the curb stomp.
Because I was almost gonna say effective but soft.
That's probably what it is. It's just Vince was scared about like
That's
realistically it's
true.
soft.
Yeah, yeah. What they are doing is pretty soft,
Yeah.
but a curb stomp is one of the nastiest things you could ever do to a real human being.
Mhm. That and when he was first doing it, he was doing it to people whose heads were on cinder blocks and shit. So I get why they banned it initially. But yeah, effective but soft.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna leave it there. That's it. That's it. Um, all right.
Um,
I think you and I both agree here. One of the more devastating striking finishers in wrestling today. It is the sweet chin music of modern pro wrestling
yeah,
to me. The
the
Claymore
Claymore.
is a sick finisher.
I love it. I love the Claymore. Big dude, big foot. Now, LA Knight.
Yeah,
The BFT is a thing.
kind of a slightly better version of what the Miz does.
Yeah, and I personally still don't think it looks all that good. What about you? No? Needs to find something new? Yeah.
I mean, we don't want to be LA Knight haters on this show. We're not actively trying to be.
There's a reason I keep forgetting about the motherfucker.
We've done 4 episodes of a fantasy league where we draft wrestling superstars and we don't fucking talk about him.
He's
And
over as
then
shit too.
and then we predicted 30 entrants into the men's Royal Rumble. You can find that episode on this channel. It's very recent. And we didn't talk about him. We forgot he existed.
We didn't even put him as a possible entrant in the Rumble. We had Big E instead of him. And Big
All
E's
right.
whatever.
Cody Rhodes, the Crossroads. When you need 2 to 3 of something to complete every big match you have, it is no longer an effective finisher.
I
So
agree.
I'm going to be super bold here and say that you need to find something new. You're not going to because you're Cody Rhodes and you're currently the WWE champion. But if you need 3 of something in every big match you have,
Yeah.
it's not the right one. I can understand Roman, but then when he did 2 to AJ Styles, when he did 3 To Logan Paul, Crossroads was dead. The Crossroads was dead.
Yeah, you shouldn't you need three crossroads for Logan fucking Paul. Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that. Yeah, you sold me on that one. I forgot about the Logan Paul.
It's a joke.
It is.
It's not real.
Yeah.
It's not real. It was never real for its first 10 years. It's like the You Can't See Me. It's the five knuckle shuffle. He never actually tried to pin anybody off of it
Oh, he
until he,
has.
well, I know, but until he got to, until it was like until he was legend, like basically legend status.
Gotcha.
And then it's like, and then sure,
Yeah.
it's a pin
I,
against your scrubs or things like that. Like this was a moment for the match for The Rock to be The Rock. And then all of a sudden you start using it as a pin thing. Then you pin Cody Rhodes with it at night one of WrestleMania 40, and then you don't follow it up with a match. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, but I mean, it's not a real finisher. We have Rock's real finisher already on
yeah.
here, and it's called the Rock Bottom.
No, I'm fine with it being placed there. I was just my only thing was when you're like you don't pin people in like well he has, but it still belongs there.
Yeah, no, yeah. I
Uh,
was just saying, like the first 5 to 10 years of its existence, it was just a thing that he did in the match. It was rarely a
and
thing
like
he
you
got
said,
victories off of.
and like you said, it was literally put there, uh, or made up to be a joke. He was trying to like make the Undertaker break character,
Yeah.
but people liked what was going on, so it just became a thing.
All right. I think this is Roman Reigns' spear.
Okay, yeah, the tribal chief spear. I'm gonna go ahead and put. I would say folks is dead when they get hit with the tribal chief spear. I mean, am I wrong? Or has he been portrayed as like,
I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong, but I think it's lowest on the
yeah, I put
list.
low there, I guess. Yeah. I mean, the dude used it to kill people for like 3 years straight
Yeah.
and protected it pretty heavily during said time. In the day, speaking of protected finishers, I think Drew is the only one who kicked out of it.
To this day.
Yeah, and yeah, what Baron Corbin once said, and I mean, he obviously ended up having the thing with Drew we just mentioned, but if he could have had a choice between never being WWE champion and never having anyone kick out of End of Days, he would have rather no one kick out of End of Days. And my first time seeing that finisher made me a fan of his. Who we
It's a
got
good.
here?
I like it. It's a good finisher. But it's also not. I I'm I'm in
I was.
support of you on this one. To
Well, we
me,
don't
it
have to do
falls
pain. We can do painful. I'm just saying it was a heavily protected finisher.
right. No, that's. I mean, because of its booking, it was extremely protected and a he's dead thing. It's 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 definitely less of a case, but for me, it falls a little bit under a big ending
Okay.
of like when you actually look at the move and you think about what's happening in the move for too long. It's not much is happening, but it was depicted as
Yeah.
you're dead, and
He
it
was
was
the last
depicted
one to
that
pin.
so strongly that I'm totally okay with it being up there.
Before Roman lost to, I think it was Jay during that whole streak. He was the last person to pin him since 2019
Yeah.
because of Enda Days being that strong.
This is an odd screen grab of a Canadian destroyer. Canadian destroyer.
How the mighty have fallen when it comes to move. If you look at that move and just what it looks like, the motherfucker should be dead.
It's insane.
But everybody does it now. They do it like super kicks.
And sometimes I feel like we've gone the other end of the scale where even AEW, who would be the main ones getting accused of that, have really dialed it back.
Oh, have they? Because yeah, when you mentioned AEW, the first thing went to my head is Orange Cassidy versus Penta.
You still might see one every show,
Mm-hmm.
but it
I
might
mean,
be one.
we saw like 3 or 4 at the Rumble.
So if you do you count Code Red as a Canadian destroyer?
No, I'd count Penta doing one and getting hit by one as at least two of them. I feel
Right.
like someone hit it in the women's
I was
rumble.
thinking of pentas, and I was thinking of him receiving one and getting one, and then I think there were two code reds in the women's rumble.
Maybe that's it.
Jordan Grace did one, and then Zelina did her, what she's usually that's her finisher.
Yeah, I know about the Selena Code Red, and I wasn't counting her, but I thought someone else had hit a
I might be
Canadian
wrong.
destroyer
That
there.
that might have happened, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely not for as crazy as it is. It does get used a lot when it could be somebody's highly protected finisher.
Yeah.
I would say I do like the running into it one way
Hmm.
more than the like slam style one, because the slam style one feels like it's mostly the guy who's getting the Canadian destroyer put on him doing most of the work and the achieving of the move. At least when the with the running one, I can my
You
brain can
could.
excuse like the momentum is
Hmm.
the thing that like flicks everybody around.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's what was so what do you think? What do you think? It's a gets a three? It's just kind of basic because
I
it's
don't want to call it
I
basic,
don't think
but
it's soft.
no. It should be it should be painful, but too many people use it like candy now.
Visually it should be dead. Like if there
Yeah.
is what if it was just Penta who only used a Mexican destroyer for the last 12 years and he only used it once a match and when he did it people sold it like it was a stunner. Yeah, it
Uh-huh.
would obviously it would be a he's dead. It would be one of the biggest finishers of all time.
It's like a blue thunder bomb. Looks impressive, but it's not pinning
Least
nobody
devastating
anymore.
move in wrestling.
Yeah, it's not pinning anybody anymore. So yeah, I'll leave it at a three.
You want to speak on this one, Omari?
Oh yeah, the master lock, which for some reason was on this list. No
The
one can
master
break out
clock, the
of it.
camel clutch, the Kohina clutch, all kind of the same
Yeah,
thing here. It's a
it's a
yeah,
full Nelson.
it's a full Nelson.
You can literally get like five of them by default with every custom wrestler. Get something else, Chris.
And one of
Yeah.
the easiest things to exit from usually.
So now we have the Burning Hammer, which is like an AA, but you land on your head essentially. Uh, that's why I say a more painful version of the AA was later on the list. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I feel like this one looks a lot more dangerous, feels a lot more dangerous, probably hurts a little bit more to even take the perfect one.
yeah. Go to sleep.
GTS,
Knee to the face.
knee to the face, has actually kneed people in the face from it and caused a little
Cause some
caused
injury.
caused some stuff. Gave Seth Rollins a black eye just earlier this month.
Oh,
But do I feel like most of the time it's effective but soft? Yes, I do. What is your opinions on it? I'm willing to be swayed.
painful. It's broken the nose. It's done that. But yeah, effective but soft. Usually the people you can see land on they get their feet and then kind of bounce back. I can see that. Effective but soft. Yeah.
Hey, look at that. They're right next to each other.
Oh, I'm sure they'd love that.
They love that. Is this the last one we're covering on this list, Omari? Finn Balor's coup de grace, another one that is started out very highly protected. It's gotten a couple of kickouts on its list so far, but still, it is he's only pulling it out if he is going to be pinning the person in this match.
It's supposed to like by definition, it's a kill shot. By what you would use the term coup de grace for
Uh-huh.
is confirm the kill essentially. That said, and it is a top rope move, and where he's putting all his weight on you, so at the very least painful. Because I mean, we did it for,
I'd be willing to say
and he's dead.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with he's dead. It's quite literally what it's what the based on the move's name, that is the move's intent. And it is one of those moves where you're like, how do you cushion these? Deadliest, I like it. You can be dead, but who's deadliest? So let's go ahead.
What do
Go
we got? All
ahead.
right, well, let's just list them off. We've got Stone Cold Steve Austin's Stunner. We have RKO from Randy Orton. We have Sweet Chin Music from Shawn Michaels. We have the Tombstone Pile Driver from The Undertaker. We have the Jackhammer from Goldberg, the Chokeslam from Kane, the Batista Bomb from Batista, the DDT from Jake the Snake Roberts, the Razor's Edge from Razor Ramon, the Rainmaker from Kazuchika Okada, the F5 from Brock Lesnar, the Claymore from Drew McIntyre, the Spear from Roman Reigns, the uh, End of
End of
Days
days.
from Baron Corbin, and the Coup de Grace from Finn Balor.
So
I am going to go ahead and make the declaration that these two are in there. Do you have arguments against that?
against that, no. That we yeah.
My thought is I know those two are in there and I don't know who's third. If you have a different
Oh,
opinion, I'm
we're
totally
limited to
willing.
get to three. So
Yes.
I guess the question would be so the tombstone is the tombstone, belongs to the Undertaker, and he's killed many a person with it. I mean,
You
30
are
and 0
not
at
kicking
Wrestle
out
or
like almost
22
all
and
of
0 at
these.
WrestleMania.
Almost all of these are you are not kicking out unless you are a Hall of Fame. But all of these have had kickouts kind of thing.
Yeah.
My allegiance is to Shawn Michaels. I so let me just make that argument real quick in my head. It can be a comes out of nowhere, but he can also tune up the band. It is a striking finisher that can look devastating, instant, impactful moment. I love a Sweet Chin Music. Tombstone Pile Driver is one of the most devastating looking
Iconic.
slams you could
Hmm.
possibly do. I mean, it looks like you're driving the person's head into the ground, head first. It is devastating looking. It is murderous. Jackhammer, I would say, is maybe the most physically impressive thing in this
Hmm.
in the He Dead section.
But I'd say Taker and Sean over the Jackhammer just because of resume. Yeah, Goldberg had the 100 in a row. We know this, but how many that still took place over the course of like 2 years. Sean and Taker were doing it for like 30 or 40. That said, it's more I would have Jackhammer over Chokeslam, so no. Batista Bomb, I'm gonna go ahead and say no. DDT and Edge. My only other argument out of what's left would be the F5.
The F5.
That would be my only other argument aside from Taker and Sean out of what we have left in He Did. Because I think it's deadlier than. I mean, Roman has lost many times to an F5. I guess vice versa with the Tribal Chief Spear, but there have been so many over so many years that have fallen to that move. That said, the Tombstone, the F5 beat the Tombstone at WrestleMania.
I'm not opposed to it. I'm not opposed to it at all. The one thing I'm thinking about, I just
Is
started thinking
having
about,
both Stone Cold and Randy.
they're such similar moves.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
really are.
yeah.
Like
When you
this,
said limit three, I'm like, we can swap one of them out. But
so
then it's a
then I would say
Taker.
if this is the greatest of the slams, if you're saying the F5 is better than the Tombstone, is better than the Razor's Edge, is better than the Choke Slam and the End of Days.
Well, which I feel like it has a better track record.
I'm not saying anything against that. No, I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I'm just wondering, can we say that
Oh,
the
striking
sweet
finishers.
chin music is the greatest striking finisher of all time? And then we kind
I
of have three mixes here.
I like that because I like Stunner over RKO, even though STL zone and all that.
I like sweet chin music over a clothesline, a hidden blade, a a berserker knee, a spear.
Yeah,
I would say I like the sweet chin music the most out of those, but also again
and then
biased
more
commentating
so
here.
than the like Claymore when you talk about striking finishers.
Right, and more
So
the
yeah,
yeah.
I would say Sweet Chin Music's good up there. because it's just too perfect.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's our list right there. Boom. If you got other ideas for tier lists that we should cover, quizzes we should cover, other drafts we should do, let us know down below in the comments. What is your favorite finisher of all time? Please tell us down there below, and we'll be able to figure it out. Other than that, you can find us on Tuesdays where we trade media back and forth. We share movies, share TV shows, share whatever we like. One guy has seen it, the other one hasn't. This guy hasn't seen. That's on Tuesdays. Whenever they want, they do whatever they want on Wednesdays. That is Omari with friend of the show, Super Jazz.
Super Jazz.
We also host a sports show every Saturday live on YouTube at 11 o'clock. Stay tuned for that. Omari, where else can they find you on the internet?
Oh, you can also find me on Twitter and Twitch at Giotavi. That is Giotavi. Come on in, stop on by. Streaming Earth Day 240. You know what that means.
Excellent. All right.
Yeah. Well, we will see you guys next time. More mock draft, more other stuff we haven't talked about. See you later.
LA Knights.